If you haven't already, check out part 1 of this series. I went around the train and it was sparsely populated. It wasn't exactly packed, but it wasn't empty either. Everyone was tired from their work and they were returning home. I was just starting my shift. I went back to the security cabin and the door clicked shut behind me. Auto-locking door. That should be useful, I mocked as I sat down rereading the rules. The train ride was just dark tunnels. After a long and eventful ride, the train finally reached Station 6. I got out of my security cabin and ushered everyone off the train. I then did a round of all 4 cabins and had to wake up a few sleeping passengers to get them off. The train doors then started to close, and it was just me and whatever else was on this train. I quickly set up my watch to alert me every 15 minutes to do my rounds. So far, so good. Rule 1, tick. Just then I realized that I messed up Rule 2. Chills went up my spine, and my heart rate quickened up. I was at the end of compartment 1, so all I had to do was go through the seating areas and then straight through to the security compartment. I suddenly started running as soon as the plan formed in my head. I had broken the rule, but that doesn't mean I just stand there and wait for something to get me. Suddenly I slammed into a wall. I was momentarily dazed, as I really wasn't expecting a wall to be there. No, hold up. It wasn't a wall. I had just crashed into a horrifying creature. It was a deep black color. No, not black. It was the color of nothingness, the total absence of light. It had bright red eye-like protrusions all over its body. In place of its face, it had tentacles, bulging out of a deep hole in the place of a mouth. Since it was hunched over, I felt its wet, slimy tentacles in my hair. This was the same creature from the subway station. This time, I wasn't in the safety of my booth though, and nothing is going to stop it from getting me. I was frozen in fear for a while until the creature let out a deep, guttural growl. It kicked me out of my state, and I started running for my life. It reached out its claw and scratched me painfully on my chest. It made the sound of chalk on a chalkboard as the rough tips of its claws ripped through my shirt and shredded my skin. Warm blood leaked out of my chest. I continued running and clutched my chest, that was now searing with sharp, ugly pain. I got into the security compartment just in time. The creature made a massive bang against the door. I quickly reached into the cabinet next to my desk and found a first aid kit. The creature continued repeatedly banging itself into the door. At some point, it went away. After ripping open my shirt, I applied the unmarked lotion I found onto my skin and wrapped bandages around my torso. The cuts weren't too deep, but they had mangled the upper layer of my skin and covered a great area. It stung like hell. I picked up my water bottle with my hands shaking and took a massive gulp. I had already broken the second rule on the list. Suddenly, I heard loud and joyous talking outside my security compartment. I knew there wasn't a rule relating to that, so I pulled out the rule sheet from my pocket and scanned it. Yes, I have to disable the doors to compartment 4. I quickly looked at the camera feed and saw a group of people sitting at the back of compartment 4 in the upper story. I swear one of them glanced up at the camera as I disabled the doors. Their face sent chills down my spine, and it was not because of their expression. It was because he looked exactly like me. No, he was me. And then all 4 of them looked up. They were all copies of me. Their wide, creepy grins sent chills down my spine. They suddenly got up and walked towards the travel doors in unison. Luckily, I had disabled the doors as soon as I heard the voices. And guess what? Just then, my watch beeps to politely tell me that it was time to take a relaxing round of the train. I picked up the knife from the drawer and made sure I had disabled the doors to compartment 4. All the other compartments were empty, but when I reached the end of compartment 3, where the travel door was to compartment 4, I saw a sight that snapped my mind. It was a sight that keeps replaying in my mind, until now. There they were, the 4 copies of me, pressed against the glass. They looked demented and drugged, drool dripping down their faces, and their eyes went wide at the sight of me. Then, as if on cue, they all started fighting each other. They fought like wild dogs, biting each other, poking each other in the eye. Blood dripped on the floor, like from a tap, but they continued. They mutilated each other. I could not continue watching. They punched and kicked each other until their faces were unrecognizable. I turned around and ran straight for the security compartment. I started crying hysterically inside and pulled out locks of my hair. Why the hell did I come back to this job? What are those things? What is this train? I screamed at the walls, but they remained silent in response. I started punching the walls and didn't stop until I noticed blood on my fists. Then I wrapped my hands in bandages. I swear I looked like a zombie apocalypse video game character. I am currently typing this up to calm down. So far, I have only broken one rule. I'll have to go on another round soon. I'm going to keep updating if I'm alive. Pray for me. I want to get out of this hell. Thank you for listening. If you like what you heard, try out another episode or series. Or consider subscribing. If you have a story you'd like narrated, contact me on Twitter, which is in the description below.